Well, we got a little bit of progress today. Finished framing in the roof. Went back to the lean-to style roof on this. It's going to just be a lean, that green metal roofing. I'm shy one piece. I have one 12-footer I'll cut in half. It'll cover 2/3 of this. So I need to grab one more piece to finish it off. Use the dog-eared siding just to make it look a little different, a little more rustic. I could have used some prefabbed like I did on the goat barn, painted it to look similar. I just thought this looked a little more rustic, a little cooler. I used some of the dog ear right here, 2 dog-eared fencing, cedar. I'm gonna run a strip on there too to make it just look more uniform. That's just the eaves right there anyhow. Got a little overhang where the metal will go. So tomorrow, I'll put all the mesh on here. I'm gonna trim it out. So what I mean trimming it out, I'll staple the mesh to these frame pieces here, and here, and all around. And then I will trim the front so you won't see where the mesh is stapled on. It'll just look, nice and clean. The front I'm gonna still try and figure out, probably divide that in half, most likely, and make a little screened, framed out wooden door on here. That's gonna stay open. That's where the chickens come out of the main part of the coop. I'll make a ramp that comes down and basically ends right here in the corner. A little flat piece of wood there so they can kind of hop up down there and then jam up the little ramp. I'm just gonna use a piece of dog-eared fence post on that probably as well, and then just put some little slats across there so they can get traction going up. And I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put some perches. Probably just put a dowel through, I lost my finger, oh there it is. Put a dowel through here and through here, and they can hop up there, and if I need a lower one for them to access, I'll do a lower one as well. But our old chickens we had in our past house, you used to like to perch up there quite a bit, even in the evenings in the snow and everything. So that opening will stay just like it is. No trim, nothing. It's done. That's the interior is done. Other than, like I said, put the mesh on here. That'll all be open underneath there. There'll be a door up here, and then the back will be solid mesh where you see the post going down. This is going to be where the nesting boxes are going. That's why it's open. So it's already pretty much trimmed out the way it'll be. And I left some space here, here, and here to mount the nesting box. I'll build a nesting box separately tomorrow, and we'll mount it there. The rear here, I'm building 2 doors. I've never built any doors before like this. They're just pieces of, kind of like that plank wood, basically the same wood as this right here. Little thin plank wood. I'm building doors of that where it's just plank, 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 plank. Little Z, like barn style, little trim wood, look. I'll staple those all together. I just didn't bring out the compressor today. So I will make it to where there's a door on each side. They latch, and then you open it all the way up to access this to clean it all. So it'll make it a lot easier to clean. Put some dog-eared fencing piece up there too to trim it out, make it look nice, or make it a little more rustic. And this is all plank wood in here, like just like trim wood. That was cooler. It's a lot more work to do it that way. You can just do plywood, but breathes a little bit better that way, expands and contracts, and it just looks cool. I like to make stuff looking rustic. I don't try and make stuff fast. I try to make it the way I want it to look, pretty much. So, and I haven't put the mesh on the bottom yet, so tomorrow we'll lift this up. We'll mesh the bottom. We'll mesh the sides. We'll mesh the front, and we'll finish these doors, and then I'll hopefully get the nesting box and the roof done tomorrow. Worst case scenario, I'll get the nesting box and roof done by this weekend, depending if I go to town and get another piece of this green wood here. I mean green, sorry, metal. So I got a piece in the ground over there. I'm going to cut in half. I got from my tiny house. I had an extra piece out there. So unfortunately, it's going to be about 2/3 of the width here. So I need one more piece to finish this. One more 12-footer I'll just cut down. And I was going to do runners across there, little like furring wood, but I framed it in because I just only had a couple spots really that weren't already framed. So I just framed the middle, and I'll just run the metal right on top of this. And it has a little bit of a slant, like I showed in my last video. So you kind of see when you're seeing it plumb, you can see this side's up about 1 inch. So not a ton of runoff. And I'll catch, we're gonna have the nesting box here. I really want to like have the plumbing go right on top of the nesting box, but the nesting box will have its own little green panels from these scraps I have. It'll come out about 15 inches or so, maybe 12, 15 inches. It'll have its own little metal roof, and it'll just come up on a little, you just pull it up, and I'll have a little thing to clasp it. I don't think I'll have like a hinge ring on it. I mean, I'll have a hinge on it, but I don't have like a gas shock or anything like that. It'll just basically be pull it up on a hinge. The hinge will probably go right in here. Pull it up, and then have a little thing to clasp it to something here so you can just hold it open while you get the eggs out. And you should be able to do 4 nesting boxes right there pretty easily. And then I may run a That's why I put a 2x4 on this side instead of like a little skinny 1/4 inch piece. I'll probably run a gutter along this whole thing all the way back to here, have it drop down here and kink over straight down. I'll have a 55-gallon barrel down here, and 1 or 2, and we'll just catch water off of the chicken coop for the chickens. And then we'll catch water off of here. I got to run a fascia board right there too. I'm gonna run one on the back, I'm gonna run on the side here, and I'll run gutters here, come down, and I'm gonna run a couple 55-gallon barrels here or a couple 275 IBC totes. I haven't figured out which one I want to do yet. So I'm gonna run a gutter off of a fascia board here. All the tags up there still. Cha-ching, $1 million at Home Depot. But I'll run a gutter across there, come down, feed the same barrels. Maybe I'll do 2 barrels here and 1 barrel, 2 barrels here. So we'll catch 2 off of this, 2 off of that. We'll fill that up pretty fast. Monsoons are coming up in July. That'll fill up really quickly. So anyway, you just be a little extra water. Why not catch it? You got the metal roof up there. A couple gutters ain't that expensive to put up there, and a little bit of tubing. And then I'll probably put a little platform right in my stadium whoop section for the mini bike. But I'll probably put a little platform out here, put the tubs on. That way they're high enough out the ground. You just put a spigot on the bottom of them, turn them on, and there's your water. So real easy. But yeah, water for the goats, water for the chickens, self-sufficient. And yeah, for those of you that fall for our off-grid channel, we were out there the other day. We'll be out there hopefully this weekend coming up or the following to do the Tyvek wrap on the tiny house, and then start siding the tiny house, get this tiny house actually livable to where you can go out on the weekends and play around there, and then have a little hub to be for friends that come out, they want to stay out there as well, and then just start getting some projects done out there. Everything I'm doing here is pretty much just it's a tiny version of what I'm gonna do out there. So I mean, I'll build a barn 3 times the size of it out there, and I'll build a chicken coop twice the size of that. With our chicken coop mansion out there, there's a little 8x4 foot. I got an 8x8 foot out there, and then the run will be probably 15 by 8 foot, so it's going to be just a ginormous version of this. And like I said, I would just take a barn like this. I would do the same thing. I'd come off 10 foot off a wall, but I'd go, instead of an 8x8, I'd do like a 12 by like 20, and then go 10 off and 20 back on both sides, and just have a little barn for the animals out there, and then do some stuff with some Conex boxes when we get out there as well. But yeah, stay tuned. Coming out okay. Like I said, I just built a rectangle out of wood. Pretty simple. Lots of screws, lots of wood, lots of cutting. Measure once, cut twice, remember. All right, guys, take care.